biggest disruptive force in senior housing in the next decade or two are going to be single, not married, boomer women.
The number one disruptor is really a tough question to me. There's so many people who are really experimenting. I think the biggest challenge that we're facing is the human capital challenge and how we provide the right level of care at the lowest cost, at a cost that's affordable. And I think the person who figures that out is going to have it right. And I don't know what that's going to look like yet, but I think that that's where we'll see some amazing things happen.
I believe the number one disruptor in the senior care industry will be environment design. Designing environments that are very relevant to our elderly's need.
Well, I think the number one disruptor in seniors housing over the next 10 to 20 years is going to be the customer. We're going to have a very different customer. That customer, particularly 10 to 20 years from now, is going to be the boomer. And the boomer doesn't think like the greatest generation. For the greatest generation, they accepted being separated from, they accepted the values of the communities they moved into, being safety, security, and comfort. That means that's not at all what's important to the boomer. The boomer wants engagement. They want to be integrated with, not separated from. They want enhancement, engagement, experience, enjoyment, and within that, they expect it to be customized to what they want. And so it's a very different customer. That, I think, will be the biggest driver. There'll be other supportive drivers like technology and how technology will enable us to respond to what the boomers want. Do it in scale, but do it in a way that's truly customized and individualized. But I think the biggest driver next 10 to 20 years, the change in the customer and what they are looking for.
Gosh, I wish I knew. I'd be a billionaire. Well, certainly the technology that people have in their own homes, and with so many people saying they don't want to live in the places and spaces that we have, with the ability to be able to stay home and still be social, still have the medical care that they need, still be able to receive services in their own homes that they receive now in senior living providers. Figuring that all out, whoever does that will be certainly the greatest disruptor to our field.
The biggest disruptor in this industry is that it will no longer be a real estate-based industry. This entire industry right now is based on physical place. Where it is going, anybody knows, but it's going to be an experience. It's going to be technology, it's going to be a lifestyle, and whether that's a place really doesn't matter. It's really the services and experience that are provided at that moment of time where you are. That's how it will change.
The thing that I think that's going to be the most disruptive in senior housing is just the immersion and integration of all of the new technology that is going to really change the way we care for residents and the way we communicate with them and the way their families can be involved with them.
So I think the single biggest disruptor in senior care is actually just the number, the volume of people coming into that age range will require changes to be made in the way those services are being delivered, and they're also demanding new services. So ultimately, the short answer is the number of people entering the senior care space.
That's a layup for me. Analytics. So I think we have an amazing opportunity to really holistically understand what is happening with seniors, with physiological data, with audio data, visual data, and be able to detect patterns that no human could do. So artificial intelligence, predictive analytics, that's going to be the number one disruptor, because one of the things that we can do is really help seniors remain more and more independent by really understanding what's happening with them holistically.
One of the things I think that'll be the number one disruptors is this has been an industry where the supply and demand metric has been significantly off, meaning there's been a low supply and a high demand for our product. And as the supply starts to catch up on the buildings, really people are going to start and continue to make their decision based on how we deliver care and who we are. And so if there's enough beds available, what's going to make the difference is the way we view them as people, and they're not a product. And so the disruptor is going to be the people who create a culture that embrace people for who they are as an individual and not a number and a bed count.
In the next 10 to 20 years, I think we are going to have to figure out a way to create a pressure relief valve on the system It's going to be a disruption of figuring out how to take care of people who need long-term custodial medical care, to allow those people to move through the system, to open up new opportunities for younger people to be able to move in so they can have great experiences.
I would suggest that probably one of the top disruptors in senior living in the next few years is the lack of ability of operators to expand based on their fear of taking risk.